Child's Play 2. So Child's Play 2 is a 1990 movie directed by John LaFia and once again stars Alex Vincent and Brad Dourif reprising their roles from Child's Play 1. This movie is set 2 years after the events of the first one. Andy has just been taken into a foster family because his mother was locked away in a nut house. Chucky is accidentally brought back to life in a new body and is out to get Andy once again because he's the one who he told his little secret to. Now, Child's Play 2 for me is a bit conflicting because this is considered to be one of the fan favorites of the entire series. And on the one hand, I can understand why some people would think that. I mean, it has better animatronics than the first one, really good acting, it's much more fast-paced, it has a fun and intense climax. But for me personally, I don't think this is as good of a movie as the first one. But this is by no means a bad movie, and I'm going to tell you what I like and didn't like, starting with what I like. Alex Vincent is once again really good as the little kid character Andy Barkley. Like, you can tell he's like, yeah, I know Chucky's going to be back at any moment. Brad Dourif once again provides a lot of charisma to the character of Chucky. He has a lot more laughs in this one than he did the first time around, but that actually kind of helps to, like, establish more of his character. It also provides for a more creative way for him to toy with his victims and kill them. And Christina Lee is good as Andy's foster sister Kyle. They have good chemistry and back and forth banter between each other, and I actually think she's one of the best parts of this movie. The animatronics have improved greatly. He's a lot less robotic in his movements. It moves more like an actual person would. The movie isn't really dull at any parts. It's really fast paced. All the scenes feel necessary, which can be a good or a bad thing in this movie, but I'll get to that later. The climax in The Good Guy Factory is really fun, and it's probably one of my favorite climaxes in this entire series. This time around, Chucky is also a lot brighter than he was before. His hair seems to be like a lot redder. His uniform is a lot more colorful. Now let's get to some of the flaws I have with this movie. Starting with my biggest issue is that the script isn't really as well put together as it was the first time. And what I mean by that is that in this movie, there are certain decisions or things characters say and do that just kind of requires them to lose like any logic. And that's something that I'm sure a fair few people would be able to like just overlook and roll with it because that's kind of the fun of these movies. Whereas in Child's Play, it was a lot more logical, and characters like actually did their own detective work, and it required them to like not lose their brain for a few seconds just to make the plot advance. For example, in this movie, Chucky ties Andy up to the bed so he can finally transfer his soul into him. And then Kyle comes into the room, unties his arm, and then Andy's foster parents come into the room, accuse Kyle of tying him to the bed. But hold that for a second, because the next day, Kyle confronts Andy about it and says,
Andy, how did you manage to tie yourself up like that last night?
I already told you.
Get real.
How would that even work exactly? It'd be physically impossible for him to do a task like that. Yeah, it's simple, small stuff like that that just kind of irritate me a little bit, because I think if they had just tightened it up just a little more, just like one more draft, it could have possibly been like 10 times better than the original. And the original is already pretty damn good. And there are only a few small shots where you can tell it's, again, a little bit artificial in Chucky's movements. I wish Chucky would have been a bit more quick when trying to transfer his soul into Andy. In the original, he doesn't get revealed until the halfway point. And in this one, he gets back to his usual antics at like the 15-minute mark, which is a lot quicker. But that's not what I have a problem with. The problem is that he just does random stuff that doesn't get him any closer to Andy. And it just feels like doing it for the sake of padding the runtime. And I just wish that would have been cut down just a little bit. But other than that, Child's Play 2 is a very enjoyable experience. If you like the first Child's Play, you'd probably enjoy this. Now, if I were to rate this movie out of 10, I would give Child's Play 2 a 7 out of 10. Guys, that was my review of Child's Play 2. I really hope you enjoyed this one, because as much as it sounds like I'm trashing on it, it's actually not that bad of a film. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe as always. I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for the next one. Peace out, have a good day, and bye.